Donald Trump's health is fading fast. And finally, the press is beginning to ask the right questions, the questions we've been asking here at the MeidasTouch network for some time. And Donald Trump, while he was aboard Air Force One, only raised additional concerns about his deteriorating health. Now, what you should know about Donald Trump is that his father had dementia. Donald Trump has Alzheimer's running in his family. It was written about by Mary Trump that Donald Trump mocked his father for having Alzheimer's. Not sure if that's true or not, but Mary Trump says that that's what Donald Trump did. We also heard from Donald Trump's nephew, Fred Trump III, who talks about dementia and Alzheimer's crippling the Trump family. It runs in their genes. And yes, Alzheimer's, dementia, and these types of mental deterioration disorders are genetic. They run in families. And Donald Trump, we know, has been terrified about having dementia. Donald Trump has been terrified about having Alzheimer's. Donald Trump has been terrified about what happened to his father, Fred Trump, happening to him. And that's what appears to be happening right now. Why else would somebody need an MRI this frequently? Of course, the medical literature talks about how one of the ways to diagnose dementia or Alzheimer's would actually be to take these MRIs to the degree and frequency that Donald Trump is having them in order to make these types of diagnoses. Also, why else is the White House and the Trump regime going to these lengths of covering it up? Donald Trump and the White House seem to believe it is a better answer for Trump to say he does not know what body part the MRI is focused on versus just admitting where the MRI was actually done on. Just to say, I don't know, he thinks is a better answer. So let me just show you what went down when Donald Trump was aboard Air Force One heading back to Washington, D.C. on Sunday, where he was asked the right question by the press. And they framed it, though, in terms of Governor Walz of Minnesota saying, Donald, release the MRI results. And this was because Donald Trump was referring to Governor Walz on Thanksgiving as the R word. And Governor Walz was like, while families are out here trying to enjoy their time together, Donald Trump's calling me seriously R word? That's what you're doing? Release the MRI results. So a reporter asked Donald Trump, hey, Donald, Governor Walz says release the MRI results. Will you do it? And Trump kind of looks like he's talking to somebody, like somebody who's there. He's like, should I? They're asking me about the MRI. They're asking me about, he's like, then he tries to yell at the reporter. He's like, why should I do that? And the reporter's like, well, what part of the body was the MRI done on? So this happened on Sunday. I want you to watch this interaction very carefully. Here, play this clip.
They asked about my MRI. MRIs are very...
Governor Walz asked you to release the MRI.
Can you tell us what it was
Governor
for?
Walz, you mean the incompetent governor. So if they want to release it, it's okay with me to release it. It's perfect.
What were they
It's
looking
like my
for?
phone call where I got impeached. It's absolutely perfect. So if you want to hear about it or if you want to release it, you want to have it released.
Yes,
News Nation, failing News Nation.
Oh, sorry.
News Nation is doing lousy, by the way. But if you want to have it released, I'll release it.
Please, can you tell us what they were looking at?
For what, releasing?
No. What part of your body was the MRI looking
I
at?
have no idea. It was just an MRI. What part of the body? It wasn't the brain because I took a cognitive test and I aced it. I got a perfect mark, which you would be incapable of doing. Goodbye, everybody. You too.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Now, just take a look at the way Donald Trump physically looked at Mar-a-Lago over the weekend. Now, when Donald Trump's sitting at the table where he eats at, they have a placard that has his name on it saying Donald J. Trump 4547, as if to remind him who he is. Take a look at what he physically looked like while he was aboard Air Force One. I mean, you see what he looks like. I mean, he looks physically deteriorating before our eyes. Now, I want to share this with you as well. So just so we can build a timeline here. So I showed you what Donald Trump said on Sunday, but let me show you what Donald Trump said November 14th, 2025, when he was asked about whether or not he had an MRI. So this is his response November 14th, 2025. Let's pay attention here. Play this clip.
Mr. President, could you tell us why you needed to get an MRI? I understand that the results were good, but what was it for?
Because it's part of my physical. Getting an MRI MRI is very standard. Well, you think I shouldn't have it? Other people got it.
Typically, an MRI
I had
is
an
like a
MRI.
specific part of your body.
Here's
or
what the
scanner.
story is. I had an MRI. The doctor said it was the best result he has ever seen as a doctor. That's it. But I had an MRI as part of my standard yearly, or I think they do it every 2 years, but I have the physical every year. And the result was outstanding.
Was it your brain?
Did you
or
know?
heart, or-
I have no idea what they analyzed, but whatever they analyzed it well, and they said that I had as good a result as they've ever seen. Now, the other thing I took, as you know, a very advanced test on mental acuity, because I think a president should have to do that. And as you probably heard, I aced it. I got a perfect score. I got the highest score. I got a perfect score. And the only reason I tell you that is it's one subject, unlike Biden and others, that you can take off your plate.
Okay, now take a look at Donald Trump's response October 27th, 2025. Here, play this clip.
Readout for Walter Reed mentioned advanced medical imaging. Did you get an MRI? Can you tell us what
I
that
did.
was?
I got an MRI. It was perfect. Yeah.
Can you tell us
I mean,
what-
I gave you the full results. We had an MRI, and in the machine, you know, the whole thing,
Yeah.
and it was perfect. Yeah.
Can you say what in particular they were?
You could ask the doctors. In fact, we have doctors traveling with us, but I think they gave you a very conclusive. Nobody has ever given you reports like I gave you. And if I didn't think it was going to be good, either I would let you know negatively, I wouldn't run, I'd do something. But the doctor said some of the best reports for the age, some of the best reports they've ever seen.
Now, one of the things that Donald Trump continues to say is that he's taking cognitive exams. I've taken this cognitive exam. I've taken that cognitive exam. No one takes better cognitive exams like me. I've aced cognitive exams. You hear him repeat that over and over again. So I'll give you this example right here. This is April 11th, 2025, after Trump purportedly had his first physical in office. His second one took place October 11th or so. But this was Donald Trump, April 11th, 2025, talking about the cognitive tests he took then. Here, play this clip.
I have the yearly physical. I think I did well. I think they're releasing the report on Sunday. Doctors, highly respected doctors, great place, great, amazing place actually.
Did they give you any suggestions or advice on anything you need to change up?
A little bit, but overall I think I felt I was in very good shape. Good heart, a good soul, very good soul. And I wanted to be a little different than Biden. I took a cognitive test, and I don't know what to tell you other than I got every answer right. I took just a lot of different tests having to do with the heart, having to do with other things, and I think you'll find that they're going to release the report on Sunday. I think you'll find it very good.
Can you tell us about the cognitive test? Is that man, woman, person, camera, TV?
I think it's a pretty well-known test. Whatever it is, I got it all right, as I've done about 4 times before. And I've taken the cognitive test, I think 4 times, and I've got nothing wrong. That's what the American people want, right? Biden refused to take it. Kamala refused to take it. I think most of them refused to take it, but I don't refuse to take it. What else?
Then you could even go back to the campaign when Donald Trump would very frequently, while slurring his words, brag about taking cognitive exams. Here, play this clip.
Be happy to hear. Our great football players going to be happy to hear this. I took a physical and I passed with flying colors, and I took a cognitive exam. I said, "Doctor, give me anything you want. I want to take it."
Ever have one of those moments where your body reminds you it's not 25 anymore? Maybe it's the slower recovery after a workout or the way your joints creak like an old floorboard. And don't get me started on how much worse it is in the winter. It's like my energy goes into hibernation. Aging is a reality for all of us, but our actions determine how we age. That's why I use Qualia Senolytic to help keep my cells healthy and my body feeling youthful. Zombie cells are real and they're aging you. These senescent cells stop being useful, but stick around, draining your energy, slowing recovery, and making you feel older than you are. Qualia Senolytic helps your body fight back against aging. It's a powerful, clinically tested formula with 9 vegan, plant-derived compounds that support your body's natural ability to eliminate zombie cells, so you can feel sharper, stronger, and more energized. Take it just 2 days a month. That's all it takes. Take Qualia Senolytic for just 2 days a month and start aging better at the cellular level. After adding Qualia Senolytic to my routine, I noticed a real difference. My energy feels steadier, recovery is quicker, and mentally, I'm more dialed in. Experience the science of feeling younger. Go to qualialife.com/Meidas for up to 50% off your purchase and use code Meidas for an additional 15%. That's qualialife.com/Meidas for up to 50% off your purchase. Your older self will thank you. And thanks to Qualia for sponsoring this episode.
And then you go back to 2020 and his first term in office, you'll see that he brags about, again, cognitive exams. I took this cognitive exam and that cognitive exam. Here, play this clip.
I tell you what, let's take a test. Let's take a test right now. Let's go down. Joe and I will take a test. Let him take the same test that I took.
Incidentally, I took the test too when I heard that you passed it.
Yeah, how did you do it?
Well, it's not the hardest test.
No, but
it has a picture and it says, what's that? And it's an elephant.
No. You see, that's all misrepresentation.
Well, that's what it was on the web.
It's all misrepresentation. Because, yes, the first few questions are easy, but I'll bet you couldn't even answer the last 5 questions. I'll bet you couldn't. They get very hard, the last 5 questions.
Well, one of them was count back from 100 by 7.
And let me tell you, you couldn't answer. You couldn't answer.
All right, what's the question?
Many of the questions. I'd get you the test. I'd like to give it. But I guarantee you that Joe Biden could not answer those questions. Okay? And I answered all 35 questions correctly.
Okay. And again, he's like, this person, woman, animal, like these exams are really, really hard. Let's just take a look at Donald Trump's father, Fred Trump's Alzheimer's and dementia and see what happened there. We can glean some additional insight. Fred Trump ultimately died 1999, and his death was related to the dementia and Alzheimer's. He ultimately died, I believe, of pneumonia, but it was one of the causal factors was the dementia and the Alzheimer's. As you look through the proceedings that the estate had, where they were all suing each other, specifically Trump was suing everybody to try to seize all the assets from the estate, we were able to see some of the documents that involve Fred Trump taking cognitive exams. So he would be told to draw a clock, and this is what he drew right here. We see medical reports that say the most striking area of dysfunction, however, is in his cognitive capacity. It was clear throughout the interview that he has significant memory impairment. Also, the diagnoses of Fred Trump, early signs of dementia back in 1992. So hit Fred Trump quick, like boom, he started having signs of it. I mean, think about if this was happening from Donald Trump right around his first term. Again, I'm just speculating, right? And then think about the degree to which it then results in the deterioration of Donald, the same way we saw it in Fred. Let me read from a February 4th and February 5th, 1992 medical report from Dr. Rudiger. This is about Fred Trump. The patient was referred by Dr. Butler for evaluation of problems with memory. The patient denied any symptoms of cognitive loss. However, it was observed that he did not know his birth date, was unsure of his age, and turned to his son for help in responding to some questions. His son reported that his memory was amazing until about age 80, but that notable decline has occurred only in the last 2 years. The patient now forgets names and will sometimes confuse one business situation with another. His son has noted progression in the last 18 months. Boom, right around Donald Trump's age. And the question becomes, is this genetic? Is Alzheimer's, is this type of dementia genetic? And the answer is absolutely it is. All of the medical literature suggests that people with Alzheimer's, if you have someone with Alzheimer's in your family, your risk of developing it could be 10 to 30% or even more higher. Now, let's hear from Fred Trump III, Donald Trump's nephew right here. Here's what Donald Trump's nephew had to say about about Fred Trump, about Donald Trump's father. Here, play this clip.
I know what I saw in my grandfather. I know what I saw in Donald's older sister, my Aunt Marianne, who in the end, thank you for saying, I am not a doctor. I don't pretend to be. I know the warning signs from both of my grandfathers, what it is. Donald's cousin, John Walters, had dementia. It runs in the family. I'm not happy about it because guess what? I worry about it myself. When I wears my glasses, on the top of my head now. I don't know, that may be Halfheimer's, but it runs in the family. He looks older, and I get it. I mean, I'm not saying anybody who is in that office looks different than when they come out. But the things he's spewing and the craziness, and he just can't stick to a message.
Yeah, wow. I mean, it's kind of describing this spot on right here. Signs and symptoms of Alzheimer's: memory, reasoning, language, behavior, personality, spatial understanding, all things we see here with Donald Trump. Let me share with you, this is Dr. Jonathan Reiner, renowned physician. Here's what he has to say about MRIs. Let's play this clip right here.
What is an MRI? Why would somebody need to have one done?
An MRI is an advanced imaging test performed by radiologists, which uses this really remarkable technology that involves a strong magnetic field and radio waves. And it basically realigns your hydrogen ions and then lets them relax back. And different tissues have different signals that come back. And this technology can provide very detailed images of virtually any body part. But we don't even know what type of MR he had. We don't know whether he had a head or brain MRI. We don't know if he had an MRI of the chest or abdomen or prostate. And we don't know what symptoms promulgated this kind of testing. I will say that just routine MRI testing is not part of a standard physical, either in the civilian world or in the White House executive medicine world. So obviously some kind of a complaint or symptom or physical finding prompted the White House medical team to go ahead and get an MRI. And again, it's important to understand that the White House can do a lot of testing in the White House. And you only go to Walter Reed when you need a test that just simply cannot be performed there, like an MRI. So it made sense that he was going there for a certain test like this. Mm-hmm. And in fact, his physician, Dr. Barbara Bella, said, in fact, he used a euphemism. He said, we did advanced imaging. Yeah. I'm not sure why he just didn't come out and say he had an MRI, but now we know.
And now, right around where I think some of these symptoms started actually developing and now accelerating, I think you go back to a Walter Reed visit that Donald Trump took during his first term in office. And I'll let Dr. Schreiner, let's play this clip of him.
His inability to say words sometimes worries me tremendously. He is having trouble word finding when he said United States instead of United States. These aren't words, these aren't slips of the tongue. These are words, he can't find them. And this is happening over and over again. Comedians joke about it, but it's not a joking matter. I think there is a neurological issue that is not being addressed. And if he had an MRI of his head over there, I would be very pleased because I think he needs it.
Is that something that could have happened in the 2-hour time he was there?
Yes, it certainly could. And it's the worry that I have is that maybe he's having small strokes. And, we had that once before in the White House when Woodrow Wilson was president. His inability to find words is peculiar and has not been explained. And I think one has to think of it as a possible neurological issue.
And again, just some other sights of Donald Trump right here. This was Donald Trump. Just take a look at him right here when he wanted to have that military parade. You see how awful he looks right here. I'm just showing you the B-roll of it right there. Here was Donald Trump when he rolled out the red carpet for Putin. Trump couldn't walk in a straight line right there. You see him right there. Here's Donald Trump where he needed to be kind of escorted and chaperoned by the Japanese Prime Minister Takaishi right there. So you look at Fred Trump's medical records before he died that I just shared with you. You look at the frequency of these cognitive exams that Fred would take towards the end of his life, the frequency of cognitive exams that Donald Trump, by his own admission, says that he's taking right now over and over again. You take a look at the fact that you have these frequent MRIs, which to me is something that you would be associated with Alzheimer's. And again, I'll be very clear. I don't know. I'm giving you my own opinion. I'm not a doctor, but I can go through the literature and express an opinion, right? We all have a First Amendment right to express opinions here, but something seriously is wrong with him. I mean, obviously there's something wrong with him, but we see a deeper, broader cover-up that I think will be brought to light soon. Tell me what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers. Thanks for watching. Hey, Midas Mighty, it's Ben, Brett, and Jordy, and we just want to thank you for being the backbone of this movement.
This year tested us more than ever, but together we proved that pro-democracy voices don't just compete, we win.
We took on the entire MAGA machine, won a Webby for Podcast of the Year,
The MeidasTouch podcast,
and you were with us every step of the way.
And trust us, what we're working on next is bigger, bolder, and built for 2026.
Let's keep this momentum going, spread the word, we are just getting started.
Shout out to the Midas Mighty!